Blessed risings, good afternoon, good evening. Depending on where in the world you are tapping in from, you got to keep in mind that Keep It P podcast is a global show. And today, on this episode of Keep It P podcast, we will be discussing 17-year-old Tupac drops history level truth about FBA education. Let me start off first. This is a podcast. So if you think I'm talking too long, guess what? Newsflash. Duh. Hello, McFlizzle. That's what they do on podcasts. We told you went too long. Yes, I'm talking before the video. I'm setting up the video. So yes, I'm going to talk on a podcast. So sorry, not sorry. Use your head. But listen, before Tupac even opens his mouth on this video, 17 years old, he knew he was stepping into dangerous territory. He already knew. You could hear it in his voice. That little warning, that half laugh, that I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. But let's be honest, why would a teenager telling the truth about his own education get him in trouble? Right? He don't have to say what you think he should have said or how he should have said it. He's 17 years old, and he already had the wherewithal to know he's getting ready to get in trouble for speaking the truth, because Tupac wasn't just talking. He was pulling the curtain back on an entire anti-FBA system that's been grooming our kids for failure way long before they ever hit adulthood. They already got multiple strikes on them. They say 3 strikes in a game. Well, they come in the world with already 1-2 strikes on them. So get into one, make one mistake, you're already on 3 strikes. You're out the game already. He knew they wanted him quiet, compliant, confused, and he refused at this time in his life to play the game. You do get wore down. You do get beat up after getting trampled over and over again. It does start to wear on you. That's why we are such a resilient people. That's why tethers can never know what we go through. And that's why his words still hit like prophecy today. Pac laid out the school to prison pipeline. He didn't even know what he was doing. It wasn't even popular at the time. He saw how the classrooms were placed, how they were built, not built for elevation. They were built for containment. Sound familiar? Maybe like prison, maybe? Maybe it sounds kind of like prison. Keep in mind where I'm going. He recognized that school for FBA students had become a tradition, not a tool. Shouldn't school be a tool? Not a ladder, not a launch pad, just a holding tank. You know where else there's a holding tank? Prison, jail.
Straight up.
Right? Am I going somewhere with
You
this?
You cooking.
Okay. The holding tank. What does that get you used to? Authority, silence, compliance, until it's time to shuffle you into the next building, right? With doors for your classroom or bars for your prison cell. But why did he feel the need to pre-warn the room? Because FBA truth has always been treated like contraband. You speak it and suddenly you're radical. You're angry. You're dangerous.
Your Keep It P podcast.
Off script. Tariq Nasheed. You're a grifter.
Yeah. You can't say stuff like we come into Washington to get our check. You can't say that.
No, you can't say that, fam. You can't say that. And Pac knew that. That's why he's not saying I'm speaking for FBA people, because he knew the industry wasn't built for that type of honesty. He knew the punishment for truth telling was going to be losing your bag. And it just doesn't stop there, because when you lose your bag, you lose a form of your safety net, your comfortability.
Yeah.
You see, FBA celebrities today still face that same double bind: protect the check or protect the community, protect my family or protect my legacy.
Mm,
But
what a
make no
conundrum.
mistake. You say what, sir?
I said, what a conundrum.
Come on, fam. This is what we deal with as an FBA. That's why tethers can't understand. That's why when they jump on uh, uh, the various bandwagons
Mm-hmm.
and then we call them out for it, then we're divisive. But make no mistake, Pac was talking about us and not them. He was telling our story. He called out the lie of No Child Left Behind decades before folks realized it was just another acceleration program pushing our FBA kids from classrooms to courtrooms. He saw the system. It's failing. It's been failing. But it's not failing because it's functioning exactly how they designed it. So it's not failing, actually, it's succeeding. But for us, in our point of view, it is failing our children, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. And yet he still pushed through the fear because the truth tugged on his spirit harder than silence ever could. Is that maybe why they killed him? I don't know. I don't know. And then think about our youth, how he's 17 and he was able to see the setup. Sometimes them young eyes are able to see things that are disguised. You understand? And why are we still pretending that this system is for us? Oh, we gonna get some justice. How you gonna get some justice in a system that's built for you to fail? What are you talking about? There's no justice within that system. You have to break it down. You have to destroy it and build it back up. Well, it's the only thing we got. Uh, it's something's always the only thing you got until you got a new one, isn't it?
Not to mention that Tupac was Gemini too. So,
What?
you know what I'm
Had to throw that
saying?
in there. Eh.
He was a Gemini, he's very um, good with the oratory and visionary. And plus, we feel things in a different way. So he was just speaking from a heart. So we wanted to give y'all a chance to hear the words from the man himself.
Oh, I hope I don't get in trouble. But school is. I think that we got so caught up in school being a tradition that we stopped using it as a learning tool, which it should be. Like up to this day, I mean, school should be. I think there should be a different curriculum in each and every like neighborhood, because I'm going to Tamalpais High, and I'm learning about the basics, but they're not basic for me, And it's like they're not to get us ready for today's world. They're not. That's not helping. It's just what they took, so it's what we're gonna take. And that's why the streets have taught me. And but school is really important, reading, writing, arithmetic. But I think after you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's it. But what they tend to do is teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic, then teach you reading and writing and arithmetic again, then again, then again, just making it harder and harder, just so, to keep you busy. And that's where I think they messed up. There should be a class on drugs. There should be a class on sex education, a real sex education class, not just pictures and diaphragms and unlogical terms and things like that. There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults. There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in
Hold up. I just had to stop it right there. Usually I don't do that. But did he say apartheid? Like, as in South Africa, as in us as Black Americans always been thinking about the diaspora, so miss me with that divisive nonsense?
Hmm.
This is young Tupac,
Hmm.
too, by the way, y'all.
By
Young,
the way,
young, probably not even politically astute, hasn't, no death row, no shock G, just little Tooey.
hanging out with Jada.
Right. Doing parents just don't understand on video recordings in the mall. But he said apartheid. I just want to point that out. I mean, let
But
me.
but we so anti diaspora, right? No, we was wearing your dashikis. We was wearing your African medallions. until we found out the truth. You are
Exactly.
katas.
The katas.
Should be a class on racism in America. It should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on gym, you know, physical education. Let's learn volleyball because one day we're gonna, it's their classes like algebra.
Hold on. Why we play badminton though?
Hold on, and square dance.
Why we play badminton? What was Foursquare about? Kickball. I mean,
Although I do like kickball,
I
but
like
I'm
it
just
too,
saying though. But just to get you focused on athletic, 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 and not education.
but ain't not even the good athletics though. Ain't no major kickball tournaments nowhere. I don't think. Like,
No, no, bad. You was better off with the badminton. We making FBAs is making kickball a thing, P. To
okay.
the point
Oh
where
yeah, yeah,
now
yeah,
they
yeah.
done
I'm sorry.
stole it, and now
Oh, I forgot.
ESPN eight.
In Minnesota, I
Come on
forgot. Shout
now,
out to shout out, Jap. It's a big old kickball community. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. But we're gonna let Pac rock out.
shout
And
out
I've yet to go to the
Tyrone.
store and said, "Can I have X, Y plus two and give me my Y change back? Thank you." I think you could let me out. I've lived alone by myself, and the things that helped me were the things that I learned from my mother and from the streets. And reading has helped me. I mean, school has taught me reading, which is I love reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. Like foreign languages. I think they're important, but I don't think it should be required because actually they should be teaching you English and then teaching you how to understand.
Political double talk. Yeah, he was finna go in on that. That's a good clip. But the point to that being, y'all, is even back then we knew who we was, we knew what it was about, and we were still fighting for other people. It goes back that far.
It does.
And I ain't
And I
gonna
got a
hold you.
question though for
Go
us.
ahead.
I got a couple questions on the way out, and I want us to play it again for the people on the way out. But I got just a few questions. Let me just get off. It's about 60 seconds worth. Why are we acting shocked when our children get funneled into handcuffs instead of cap and gowns? That is a question. Tap into the
For
comments. Why
today's
do we
world,
act shocked?
they're not.
Why are
That's
we
not
letting
helpful.
outsiders and tethers lecture FBAs about education reform when they've never lived the consequences of these policies, right? Is this a all black issue, or is this a FBA specific attack on our children, right? These are
Right.
questions. These are real questions. Are we going to keep letting non FBAs and tethers try to rewrite the narrative Pac risked himself to speak? Are we? Or are we going to have some honor and courage, right? That this 17-year-old kid had? I'm asking FBA family, are you just going to keep whispering? Or are we going to start naming names and start trying to protect our children from this machine? That's all. That's all. They're questions. Replay them if you don't know what I said. But these are questions. Let me get some comments. Let me get some answers to these questions.
That's right. And we ain't gonna hold you, but we're gonna mold you, fold you, and scold you about being on code. And got 4 words for you. Need you go ahead and subscribe for the vibes, like for the spike, comment those questions in the comment sections. I do talk back, heart, like, and all that, pin, all that. I'm in there. And share this if you care about getting black empowerment everywhere. Please do that on the platforms that we are on, Jizones. And just to bring it all the way home, I got love, peace, blessings, and aloha because I'm out the Doha. For
Hey,
Shoha,
run
you
that video
already,
again.
hey, but I wanted to do this before we go too. Make sure y'all go to sayitwithyourchest.com. Get you some of that hot FBA gear. We coming to Washington to get our check. So you can say it like it ain't, you don't need no disrespect. And we're gonna let Tupac it in one more time before we go out the door. For sure.
Oh, I hope I don't get in trouble, but school
I'll get in
is.
trouble.
I think that we got so caught
Shameful.
up in school being a tradition that we stopped using it as a learning tool, which it should be. Like up to this day, I mean, school should be. I think there should be a different curriculum in each and every like neighborhood, because I'm going to Tampahi High, and I'm learning about the basics. but they're not basic for me, you know. And it's like they're not to get us ready for today's world. They're not. That's not helping. It's just what they took, so it's what we're gonna take, you know. And that's why the streets have taught me. And but school is really important, reading, writing, arithmetic. But I think after you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's it. But what they tend to do is teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic, then teach you reading and writing and arithmetic again, then again.
I can't help but notice that he sounds like another Gemini too, talking right now. He sounds like Kanye.
Mm.
I don't know if y'all caught that, but from a Gemini to a Gemini, he sounds like another Gemini. But go on.
Then again, just making it harder and harder, just so, to keep you busy. And that's where I think they messed up. There should be a class on drugs. It should be a class on sex education, a real sex education class, not just pictures and diaphragms and unlogical terms and things like that. There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults. There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America. There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on gym, you know, physical education. Let's learn volleyball because one day we're gonna, you know, it's their classes like algebra, where I've yet to go to a store and said, "Can I have X, Y plus 2 and give me my Y change back? Thank you." You know, I think you could let me out. I've lived alone by myself, and the things that helped me were the things that I learned from my mother and from the streets. And reading has helped me. I mean, school has taught me reading, which is I love reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. Like foreign languages. I think they're important, but I don't think it should be required because actually they should be teaching you English and then teaching you how to understand.
The double talk from politicians, double talk. That's a
Oh my!
good. That's a. I want to see the whole interview. I'm very interested on that now. Also, he does sound like Prince talking too. Another Gemini. He reminds me of Ice Cube talking. Another Gemini. I don't know. And he almost was kind of rambling like Trump a little bit too. Another Gemini. But anyway, I ain't gonna hold you.